the former coach, Coach Stanley Eguma, was heavily criticized based on his tactics and his tactical input, but Finidi George have come, will I say, to rescue the team, because we know that last season Rivers United we had nothing to write home about. They even couldn't finish on the continent, on the continental places on the table. So I feel like this season Coach Finidi George has actually started well, and I still tip him maybe to do well as the season goes on. Having about 10 points from your first 4 games, for me, I think is a good one. And let's not forget that this same Rivers United have gone away from home and picked about 4 points, winning and getting a draw away from home. And yes, we know that getting results away from home have been very, very, very difficult for a team like Rivers United, especially last season. So I feel like Finidi George, his tactics and will I say his input in the team has started showing so far since he got the job. And yes, you never can tell. Maybe, just maybe, we could be seeing him compete for the league title like the way he did when coaching the Eimba team some couple of seasons ago. And
of course, we saw clearly that Tornadoes played a wonderful job with Bender Insurance. Another surprising result for me is that Aqua United at home lost that encounter and against Sunshine Stars, and of course Kennedy Boboye masterminding. He coached Aqua United, yeah. So going back, any club he coach and go back to the club, he wants to get victory, and clearly he showed the Aqua Ibomites that he's not coming here to laugh with them. Clearly, wonderful display. 2-1 it ended, away from home. That was a masterclass for me.
Yes, for me, I think I'm quite disappointed with Aqua United and Baba Ganaru, their coach, out there. Don't forget, they are mourning the first lady of the state. Yeah. The governor's wife just passed away during the course of the week, and you expected Aqua United to get all 3 points at least to help douse the tension and the people that are grieving as well. But then, quite unfortunate that Baba Ganaru couldn't help his boys to get all 3 points for Aqua United. I tell you, it's not a very impressive start for Aqua United, because as it is, they are still hovering within the drop zone, which for me, it's not a good one to start early. Last season,
they escaped.
In fact, 2 games before the season last wrapped up, that is how Aqua United were able to escape from relegation. Now dropping down to swimming in the ocean of relegation at this early stage, I mean, it doesn't point good at all for Aqua United and their fans.
It looks like Ikorodu City, we have to learn a lot of football lessons, except they hold their own tight. They might go back to where they come from, because they were trash at home by Nasarawa United. And miracle, Ikorodu City, with all the fans that they garnered and all the commercial activity, but they have one of the best media activities with Remo Stars, in the league. But somehow, the result hasn't been fair to them.
Yeah. Let's not forget that this was the same way Sporting Lagos started the season last season. They actually started quite.
No, but Sporting Lagos in Monday 4, we saw what they were turning out result.
They were turning out result, but will I say their media publicity was also was top notch, just like Ikorodu City. But the media activities is not what actually plays the game. Once you enter the field of play, there's another action that takes place on the field of play, and Ikorodu City have actually lost back-to-back home games. I know that about last week they lost to Enugu Rangers, if I'm not mistaken. Then losing on that home game is very, very abysmal. It's a very, very disappointing performance from them, and I feel like Ikorodu City needs to go back to the drawing board and work on how to gain or improve on their performances. This is the MPFL, not the NNL.
Will you say it's about the quality of the side, or the fact that they are not well prepared for the season?
I wouldn't say it was lack of preparation, but I would say the quality of the side and the quality of the players they have is something that they should actually work on. Ikorodu City, I don't think they have gained or they have such experience. I think this is their first time even coming to the
but were they relying on the players that won them, or that got them promoted, to do the needful for them?
Yes, definitely. They will want to think that those players can actually do the magic. But for me, I think they should go back to the drawing board and then work on how to get quality players, even from ex-MPFL teams that maybe went down to the NNL. They can pick up some 1 or 2 players from those teams and know how to improve, or they can work on those players, helping them to improve on their performances.
Fortunately for them, Nassarawa United also played with them in the NNL last season, Mike. And so one would have won that. Ikorodu City were better off than Nassarawa United in terms of, you know, in terms of the log. You know, though different conferences and different units, but somehow they showed class. But one thing very striking is, I mean, with the way they have started, they are not just when you are promoted, you just want to put some stunts. They're not doing that. Are we hoping that they are going to, you know, regain back the consciousness? After all, it's match the 4.
Yeah, I think for me it is too early to call right now as it is for Ikorodu City. But then I think their fans would have been most excited if they had started in a very fine footing. But then just played 4 games so far. We can't start judging them. We still have about 34 games or 33 games to go. Let's see what comes of Ikorodu United. But I tell you, the bulk of the players that help them to gain promotion into the top flight division, they still retain about a chunk of the bulk of the player, adding 1 or 2 experienced players as well. I think if given the time to also master the top flight league, maybe they might just start churning out the result. But as it is right now, it is not a good start for Ikorodu City.
It's not a good start, and of course, it's time now to move away from that now. But before we do that, to go on a short break. When we come back, we will head straight to the English Premier League. And of course, we have a lot to talk about in the English Premier League, where a lot transpired. 30 goals were scored on match the 6th of the English Premier League. Also moving away from that to some of the highlights of key actions in the top 5 league. Don't go anywhere. Alright, welcome back from that short break. We are coasting home now, but let's talk about the English Premier League, where actions emanated from 9 centres, because we have a game this evening, Bournemouth versus Southampton. That game will be played, and of course, we'll get to also talk about all that will play out that played out over the weekend. 30 goals were scored, a miracle, and the biggest highlight was that 3-0 bashing of Manchester United at home, and a lot of shout as regards the sacking or staying of Erik ten Hag.
Yeah, for me it was a very, very, very disappointing performance from Manchester United. We also had that match turned out to be yesterday with the likes of Bruno Fernandes, the poster boy of Manchester United, also getting sent off within the game. I feel like that particular game actually, let's say, it just displayed how poor Manchester United have been over the last couple of games. We know in the previous game against M20 in the Europa League, how they struggled to play a 1-1 draw. Then going into that game yesterday, a lot of people actually tipped them maybe to come back stronger and fight for that particular one, knowing fully well what is at stake. But unfortunately, Manchester United wasn't able to hold their own in that game. Having a 3-0 bashing at your own backyard at Old Trafford, and not being able to even score a goal, I think is a very, very disappointing one for Manchester United. And for the coach, Erik ten Hag, I think a lot of pressure is on him at this point in time. I haven't seen his imprint on this team for a very, very long time now. I don't know if the players are even willing to play for him any longer. But I think the board and the hierarchy of Manchester United really needs to do a lot concerning the coach and the players.
And on the other part of London, we saw what Chelsea did, displayed in fine fashion, getting, one player, Kopama, got a haul, in that encounter, making him the first player in the Premier League to score 4 goals in the first half of the league game, Mike?
A massive one for the young gem. I tell you, he's a real talent. I tell you, talking about Cole Palmer, setting or creating a record in the history of the English Premier League of becoming the first player to score a goal in the first half of the game. I think that was very, very massive. And these 4 goals came in between 20 minutes. That is massive for me. The young boy is talented. Take a look at the free kick. Mouth-watering. In fact, that was the best free kick I've seen so far this season in the English Premier League. But then Chelsea also need to watch it, because if you take a look at the game
they played.
The goals
they scored yesterday, I think that if Chelsea faces a compact, defensive-minded opponent, that might be very difficult for them.
No, I do not think so. Because Chelsea play free, fluent football right now as it is. Anybody at all can score. Anybody could be the danger man. If you try to mark out Madueke, Cole Palmer will do the damage. If Cole Palmer doesn't do the damage, Nicola Jackson, though, has been criticized, but then he has been able to shut the mouth of so many critics out there because of his performance so far. So for me, I think it's just about the goalkeepers and the defense line of Chelsea that they need to work on. Because you take a look at the 2 goals that they actually conceded, in that game, it boils to down to the defensive error and the mistakes coming from the goalkeeper, talking about Sanchez, who for me I think is not that good in terms of ball distribution. He gives away the ball easily, fail to time very well before he passes the ball to his players out there. So Chelsea defense and their goalkeeper is their major undoing so far this season. If not, Chelsea wouldn't have been able to concede that 2 goals. Those 2 goals courtesy of the errors from the defense and the goalkeeper out there. But in all, I think it was an impressive one for Chelsea Football Club.
As the day progresses, we'll get to talk about the draw between Newcastle and then Manchester City. That's a matter for another day. But let's move away from the EPL now down to the La Liga Santander, where we saw the Madrid derby yesterday, and a lot of club crowd violence. Not really violence, so to say, but the crowd, ensured that that match was suspended for 15 minutes before they came back at the nick of time, 95 minutes extra time, of course, because of the time wasted. They got their equalizer courtesy of Correro. But I mean, Madrid showed that they can do the needful. But a lot of people feel that they lost it as a result of their errors.
Yeah, definitely. We knew how Atletico Madrid were going to set up on that particular game, sitting back and hitting Madrid on the counter, and that was exactly what the Diego Simeone-led team actually did yesterday, with Madrid taking the lead. But the Atletico Madrid were staying in the game because it was just a 1-goal deficit, and that they actually equalized very, very late on that particular one. And for me, it was a fantastic display from both teams, and I think that a draw was a fair result, and knowing fully well that the both teams are still unbeaten this particular season. So I think yesterday the both teams actually proved themselves, and a draw was a fair result for the both teams.